Hi, we did a big test with C400, C500 Mark II, Red Dragon, and the SMC2 Red Dragon 6K, I guess, and Pyxis and Nikon Z8, which I want to focus on C400 because it has 3 base ISOs and it is really interesting to see what it does with those different ISOs and how the latitude works with them, how the noise structure works with them. And then we're going to take a look at some examples and some comparisons between C400 and bigger brother C500 and Red Dragon, and we'll put the Pyxis in for a little bit of an excitement. Okay, let's go. All right, so let's take a look at the base ISOs for a second. So this is 800 ISO. Noise itself is really nice. You can see it in the waveforms too. 3200, it does get a little more noisier, but still looks good. 12,800 also looks great. Honestly, really nice. So 800 pushed 2 stops versus 3200. Especially the chroma noise gets a lot better. A lot better. There's still the luminoise there, but the chroma noise gets a lot better, and that is easier to denoise if you want to, and it just looks more pleasant in general. This is 800 pushed 4 stops. This is 12,800. So you're definitely getting much better results. Like, this is not even close. And so this is 800 pushed 1 stop. This is 3200 pulled 1 stop. From noise, you can see that 3200 actually performs better. Actually does perform a little better. So in a situation like this, I would choose to do 3200. Look at that. It's so much better. It's actually much better, yeah. Let's play it. 800, 3200. So I would definitely say 3200 is a winner here. Same thing when you have a 6400 ISO scene. What do? 3200 push 1 or 12,800 pull 1. 3200 pushed, 12,800 pulled. You're getting comparable noise, but you can see that the noise, the black levels, the black noise there is a lot more lifted 3200 pushed 1 versus the 12,800 pulled 1. So in a situation like this, 12,800 will give you better results than 3200 pushed 1 stop. In a situation where we have to push or pull with the base ISOs, I would rather pull than push the other base ISO up. For noise, it's better to pull the upper base ISO than to push the lower base ISO. 800 0, 3200 0, 12,800 0. You can see a little bit of a difference in the noise, but looking good. +1's gonna look good. 2, 3 is gonna look good. 4, again, this is our limit basically. 4 1/3 looking good. Even like there's a little bit of clipping definitely, and the white chip is clipped, but it doesn't look bad at all, I have to say. Yeah, 2/3 is clipped. 5, 6. So interesting stuff is going to happen with the underexposure, of course. So this is 0, 0, 0. You can see the noise with 12,800 really nicely there. So 800 -1. 3200 -1, still looking good. 12,800 -1. So again, we are on the limits of our stuff here. 800 -2, 3200 -2, looking looking questionable with a little bit of noise reduction. We can get it, but looking questionable. 12,800 -2 is just gone. So 800 -3. 3200 -3, 12,800 -3. This is basically where we will lose the 3200 too. With the -4 and 800, maybe we might. So -4, 800, 3200, 12,800, and after this point they're gone. But it's good to know. I'll upload like TIFFs or whatever to to my blog, so you can take a look at that, but that's basically gone. On the exposure latitude, so 765 with the 800, 3200, and 12,800 base ISOs. Not bad. So this is a 0 stop on every one of them. It's not going to tell a lot, but there is something there. What is really interesting is the plus 4 stops. 4 stops is where Dragon is clipping. The skin is also clipping. C500 Mark II is not showing any clipping. This is a little bit clipped, but not a lot. C400, about the same, maybe even better. This was a little bit of a different perspective, so I might just give it to that because I do think C500 in general performed better there. Pyxis, you can see that we're not actually clipping. Not even on the white chip we're clipping, which is really good for Pyxis. Like, it does well with the overexposure by the 1/3 of a stop up until there. And Nikon is already clipped here, and then it's also a bit on the skin. And -2 is also really impressive because this is Red Dragon. It does look really good. You don't really see a lot of noise. Like, it's really good. And if we were to go to Canon C500 Mark II, you see a little more noise, and 800 -2, you're seeing a little bit more noise. But again, C400 would use the 3200 base, so it would get to a comparable level with the Red Dragon -2 stops. Pyxis is actually looking not really great. You have to noise reduce this, like you have to use noise reduction on this. This is not great, but we can talk about it some other time, I guess. And then we have Nikon Z8, which it gets really obvious that the noise is there and it's very green. It's not super impressive. This is -4 stops at 800 ISO with, so this would be Red Dragon at -4, and it looks really good. Like, the noise is looking really not bad. So this would be 12,800 basically. So C400 at 12,800 is actually cleaner than Dragon -4 stops, which is actually really good to see. So that's really great. That's actually really great. C500 Mark II looks like this. C400 looks like this. Pyxis is gone, and Nikon, like NRAW, is gone. Okay, in conclusion, there are some things that we can say, there are some things that we can't say, because again, this is just like me sitting in a darkened, basically, room with equipment around, and then we're taking a look at the noise pattern and then the exposure latitude there. So we're not outside, we can't see the noise in different places and blah, blah, blah. But I think it is still very important to do those tests, and, you know, we can get some conclusions out of it. My conclusions would be, personally, I think the noise pattern up from like -3 to -4, depending on the base ISO, 800, 3200 or 12,800, is very ugly. It's not the best, and it does introduce a lot of magenta. It does introduce a lot, like, it doesn't look really nice in my opinion. And so yeah, if I were to, I guess, to use the camera, I would try to, I guess I do that with every camera, but ETTR, like a 1 stop. Yeah, okay, other than that, surprisingly, I think C500 Mark II still is better in a lot of ways than C400, image-wise, exposure latitude-wise, and then the noise pattern-wise. I think it's better for about the same price, I guess. So that's pretty crazy. Difference is 3x2 sensor versus the 17x9 sensor with the 6K and 5.9K. Blah blah blah. But this is also not a comparison between those two cameras, which might be actually an interesting thing to do. Yeah, cool. I'll see you in the next one. Bye.